Bitcoin daily, weekly. Now you can see what I'm talking about there. So it's been a while, but the fact that that whole sector was exploding before this move tells me there's a lot more to come in Bitcoin. The big whales know something about the money flow, and that money flow is going to be coming in Bitcoin. So I think finally, we're going to break out above this 66,525 here, and then make a move to the all-time highs on Bitcoin. So that is definitely in play. It's hard to say for today because you're buying this gap up. But as far as a swing position, I think if you're not in it, you're light in it. I think it's a good time to increase the position in Bitcoin. Something real seems to be happening there. Amazon, okay, Elon, I mean, Jeff Bezos has been selling everything he could at $200. We got some call options overnight, $200 strike for this week. And my thinking was on a Trump victory, we can break 200 because, and I don't know if I mentioned this on the show yesterday or in our Discord. I think it was on the show. Jeff Bezos did something that took some guts. He went against everybody in his organization to prevent the Washington Post from endorsing Kamala Harris. Okay, that happened last week. And there was like a mutiny at the Washington Post, and people were really pissed at him. So he took a stand, and I'm sure Donald Trump took note of that. The question is that the market take note of that enough to say Amazon's a Trump stock, just like Tesla will benefit because of his support for Trump. Will Amazon benefit because of what Jeff Bezos did for Trump in the past week? That was the thesis for why we got some Amazon calls yesterday. And it's really underperforming today, up 0.45%. If we look at the QQQ and SPY, up 2%. Look, I got to throw Amazon in the top 5. I got to say, now we have all the ingredients finally. We don't know. It's a black hole. We don't know for sure how many shares is Jeff Bezos selling at 200. So it's definitely risky to do this. But if there's ever going to be a day where there's enough buy volume to overcome a big seller, I would say maybe today's that day. So let's throw Amazon in the top 5 for a break of 200 for a second. But it's not just about the supply. It's also about the demand. So even if you want to imagine whatever the max quantity is that you think Jeff Bezos is selling out there, if there's any day where the demand can overtake the supply, today's a good day to do that. All right. That's basically what I'm saying. And has already sold many shares. It's not like he just started. He's been selling for a long time. So I would guess is closer to the end than the beginning. But again, it's a black hole what the supply is, but also today the demand is going to be crazy. Let's take out that $200 Jeff Bezos wall today. Let me start with Tesla. Tesla, this is one where we're not closing out, all right, the trade card. First of all, our target was 270 to 300. Hasn't reached that yet. Second of all, I mean, are you kidding me? Elon Musk is somehow going to be paid back for what is done for Trump, all right? That's obvious. Everybody knows that. And beyond that, we called the bottom in Tesla. Like the trade card, we nailed that one, and we're like, this is the long-term inflection point for Tesla. It's the last of the big mega caps that now has to catch up. And I'm looking for all-time highs in Tesla. I think this is where you hold Tesla, just like we've been holding Bitcoin since a few months ago for new all-time highs. I think Tesla, the new all-time highs are going to come. I'm not saying the next couple months, but in the next 2 to 3 years, at least, this is heading over $414 in my view. So that's Tesla. This is one where I like it, meaning I think the gains will hold, and you can look for opportunities to buy the dip. I think the dips are going to be bought in Tesla. As far as levels, I don't know. Let's see. You got this pre-market at 278, double bottom. You see that? Maybe that's a spot if you want to try to day trade 278. But I have a fairly good size position in my long-term account that I'm just going to hold. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with Tesla. Am I going to pick up some day trade? Something or other. By the way, Tesla calls, I mentioned it in the Discord like 5 times yesterday because I thought it was a great way to play on a Trump victory. Let me just say Tesla is not over. Not over at all. I updated the price target in our 4-pillar channel in our Discord, gave you guys a new price target. We had 270 to 299. We upgraded that price target to 300 to 315. Where is it? There's a 300. I gotta go to weekly candles. 300 to 315. Okay, 300 right there to 315 right there. That's the more near-term targets. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes by Monday. Who knows? Might even come today or tomorrow. 300 to 315. Look at the macro. It looks like we are now in correction mode here. Look at QQQ. You got to worry about, well, did we get to this gap fill up here? Let's see where that is. 506.41. We're below that level. So now you got to worry about this level right here, which by the time it gets there, maybe it might coincide with 20 DMA. SPY looks very similar. So SPY and QQQ basically mirroring each other with those levels to look at. And IWM, below this level right here, very important, 232, could make it back to that 227 breakout or so, 228 breakout or so. Guys, listen, I'm getting validation on social media. From the likes of Dan Ives, Jim Cramer, who is not a good indicator, but when you have Dan Ives and Jim Cramer agreeing, basically saying everything I was saying in the morning show, we're talking about $926 billion company. Dan Ives is like, this is a $1.5 billion company. Automation is going to be fast-tracked. In terms of federal regulations and stuff. Take a look at this. I'm looking at, let's pull back to the weekly chart. If you go to the daily, you're like, oh, it's so scary. You got a gap here. Oh my God. Right. Okay. Well, you can look, first of all, even on the daily, we're so close to that 299. It's going to test it soon. And then right after that, this is the magnet right there at 314.67. So your target's 300 to 314, 300 to 315, let's call it. But if you don't want to be scared of the gap, pull up a weekly chart, okay? When you put up a weekly chart, just look at this and think about how important this catalyst is. This is an inflection catalyst. This means this is a catalyst when 5 years from now, you look back at the stock and you look at the chart, you can identify a point in time, right? How important is it that Trump is elected and Elon Musk is at his side and basically put him in office, right? How important is that to the company? Obviously, it's hugely important. How big should that candle be? How big should that inflection be when you look back in this chart in time from the future, right? And when you look at the weekly chart, hey, we haven't even gotten started. This 15% move is nothing. It's a blip. You haven't even missed it yet. So when can we see this like really peak out? Or I don't want to say peak out, but when is this thing going to capitulate to the upside, at least temporarily? Guess when that's going to be? I think it's pretty clear. January 20th. There's going to be a lot of hype building into that. Most of the run's probably going to happen well before that. November, December. Maybe you see this thing have that capitulation high, towards Inauguration Day, right after Inauguration. Everything's going to be baked in by then. So, again, look at these weekly candles. How big should these weekly candles be to represent this monumental thing that's really going to impact fundamentals for Tesla? I mean, look, this 299 to 315, that's like very short term. That could be tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow or Friday or Monday, might very well be tomorrow, 300 to 315. If you want to talk about a game-changing inflection for the company, you got to think this thing has got to be maybe somewhere between 380 and the all-time high by Inauguration Day. All right, or at least 360 to 415 by Inauguration Day. That's my target. This is the opportunity. That's the analysis. daily, weekly. Now you can see what I'm talking about there. So it's been a while, but the fact that that whole sector was exploding before this move tells me there's a lot more to come in Bitcoin. The big whales know something about the money flow, and that money flow is going to be coming in Bitcoin. So I think finally, we're going to break out above this 66,525 here, and then make a move to the all-time highs on Bitcoin. So that is definitely in play. It's hard to say for today because you're buying this gap up. But as far as a swing position, I think if you're not in it, you're light in it. I think it's a good time to increase the position in Bitcoin. Something real seems to be happening there. Let me start with Tesla. Tesla, this is one where we're not closing out, all right, the trade card. First of all, our target was 270 to 300. Hasn't reached that yet. Second of all, I mean, are you kidding me? Elon Musk is somehow going to be paid back for what is done for Trump, all right? That's obvious. Everybody knows that. And beyond that, we called the bottom in Tesla. Like the trade card, we nailed that one, and we're like, this is the long-term inflection point for Tesla. It's the last of the big mega caps that now has to catch up. And I'm looking for all-time highs in Tesla. I think this is where you hold Tesla, just like we've been holding Bitcoin since a few months ago for new all-time highs. I think Tesla, the new all-time highs are going to come. I'm not saying the next couple months, but in the next 2 to 3 years at least. This is heading over $414 in my view. So that's Tesla. This is one where I like it, meaning I think the gains will hold, and you can look for opportunities to buy the dip. I think the dips are going to be bought in Tesla. As far as levels, I don't know. Let's see. You got this pre-market at 278, double bottom. You see that? Maybe that's a spot if you want to try to day trade 278. But I have a fairly good size position in my long-term account that I'm just going to hold. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with Tesla. Am I going to pick up some day trade, something or other? By the way, Tesla calls, I mentioned it in the Discord like 5 times yesterday because I thought it was a great way to play on a Trump victory. Let me just say Tesla is not over. Not over at all. I updated the price target in our 4-pillar channel in our Discord, gave you guys a new price target. We had 270 to 299. We upgraded that price target to 300 to 315. Where is it? There's a 300. We're going to, I got to go to weekly candles. 300 to 315. Okay. 300 right there to 315 right there. That's the more near-term targets. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes by Monday. Who knows? Might even come today or tomorrow. 300 to 315. Daily, weekly. Now you can see what I'm talking about there. So it's been a while, but the fact that that whole sector was exploding before this move tells me there's a lot more to come in Bitcoin. The big whales know something about the money flow, and that money flow is going to be coming in Bitcoin. So I think finally, we're going to break out above this 66,525 here, and then make a move to the all-time highs on Bitcoin. So that is definitely in play. It's hard to say for today because you're buying this gap up. But as far as a swing position, I think if you're not in it, you're light in it. I think it's a good time to increase the position in Bitcoin. Something real seems to be happening there. Look at the macro. It looks like we are now in correction mode here. Look at QQQ. You got to worry about, well, did we get to this gap fill up here? Let's see where that is. 506.41. We're below that level. So now you got to worry about this level right here, which by the time it gets there, maybe it might coincide with 20 DMA. SPY looks very similar. So SPY and QQQ basically mirroring each other with those levels to look at. And IWM, below this level right here, very important, 232, could make it back to that 227 breakout or so, 228 breakout or so. Trump coming in and really doing, again, kind of what was expected, saying he's not going to do that EV credit, $7,500 EV credit. People who understand the politics of this knew that that was going to happen, okay? This is not really a surprise, and I don't think any of the bulls, including Dan Ives, and there's some other commentary out there, Good morning. It is Thursday, November 21st, and we have a lot to cover. I know everyone has on their mind NVIDIA, Bitcoin, the market, Snowflake. We'll cover all of that, but first, we got to take a victory lap here on RCAT. RCAT yesterday, our number one pick of the day, opened at 564, closed at 690. No, 564 closed at 637 this morning, and pre-market it's 708. Our community has been all over this since about $2 down here. It's now $7.10. The night before this big move, if you're part of our Discord community, you know we were buying as much as we could, going to max allocation size at $5.10, with a target of $7.75. That was a target we gave you yesterday as well. Swing target of $7.75. We're here at 708 by 710. I'd say our predictions are coming along just fine. Rhett, what do you think of RCAT?
Beautiful play, Ben. I mean, the SRR contract that came through was a cherry on top of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And we paid attention to the details. We were live on that conference call, on that webinar, and we're able to give that signal to double, triple, quadruple down, whatever your max allocation you're comfortable with at 510. That's what we did. The target is very clear at 775 at this point. Looks like we could hit that today. We could hit 775 today. RCAT chosen by the U.S. Army for this large drone contract, market cap $480 million. The contract's about a little under $400 million over 5 years. As I think I said this yesterday, like this is like the next Rocket Lab in terms of price action here in the coming period. So apparently the CEO or CTO, I think it's a CTO, is going to be on Fox Business, something like that, right?
Yep.
Today at what time?
I think at 10:40 a.m. So coming up
10:40 a.m. And there you go. And there's also a big article in the Wall Street Journal yesterday about this little company that's just getting found. So the momentum is not stopping. Our target is $7.75. So yeah, I may have made a mistake selling $8 calls against my position. We'll see. They looked really juicy. We found them first at 80 cents, and I sold some at 40 cents, 50 cents. I didn't get the 80 that I wanted, but in any case, now they're trading. Probably they're going to open up at like $1 or something at least. So unbelievable play for our community. Folks making a ton of money. All right, before we head on over to the macro, I just want to stay on this theme because there's two other stocks we should talk about here with RCAT. PDYN alerted early in our community yesterday by the Godfather. RCAT yesterday morning signed a contract with PDYN to help deliver on this SSR contract, some AI-related stuff. Okay, so yesterday, PDYN hit a high of $2.44, is it? Was that yesterday's high? Hold on, let me get to the daily here. Yesterday's high, I'm going to have probably trouble seeing the chart. No, $2.35. What is going on with my chart? There we go. Okay, that's a better view. $2.35. Yesterday's high, but you can see RCAT here off to a new high. So I think the market is going to want to push this above $2.35. Now, another play on this big contract is UMAC. Man, I gave this UMAC to people on Benzinga yesterday in our community too, Discord, but we happened to be on Benzinga at the time too. It must have been around $3.10 at the time. And I gave you guys a target of $3.55. I misplayed it. I didn't stick around for it. But for the folks who listened to me and played it, We didn't only beat 355. Look at us now, 370 by 390. It is a little micro cap. Be careful, $31 million. But UMAC is a spinoff from RCAT. UMAC provides parts to RCAT. Okay, so that's the relationship here, and that's why RCAT was pumping yesterday. Could see follow through today, maybe above 430 with RCAT keeping RCAT pumping like that. All right, so those are the three drone plays here connected to this contract with the SSR. All right, let's talk about quickly the macro. Look, we got to talk about NVIDIA to talk about the macro. So this was the first quarter where it wasn't a blowout. Yeah, they beat slightly. Lots of people say, wow, what an impressive quarter. Wow, they doubled revenue and earnings, whatever, year over year. But that was all like expected. This was not a big blowout. So I think you have to start thinking about, is growth going to start decelerating at some point? You can ask the question, I don't want to say that is the top end, but you can ask the question, is this going to be a huge returner from here, at a $3.6 trillion market cap? However, let me tell you, I do not think, here, we're up. I said this last night. I do not think we're going to sell off in NVIDIA. Not only that, I think we're going to see a market melt up in NVIDIA and in the market, and all the winners, the 2024 winners, are going to see a market melt up. All right. This is like the reverse of tax harvesting, tax loss selling that we're seeing in Celsius. We're seeing it in TMDX. We're probably seeing it in AIR. The losers of 2024, people sell that so they get tax benefit against the winners. You know what else people do at this time of year when the winners are just exploding so much? They wait until January to sell, to defer their taxes. And this year you have like maybe a double incentive to do that, because there may be speculation that, who knows, Trump administration could lower taxes or something next year. Although I'm not sure if that's on the table for capital gains, but you never know. I'm sure there's a positive sentiment in general about taxes. So people are like, you know what? Let me take my chances. Let me wait till January to sell these huge winners. And I think that's the primary reason you're going to see a melt up from Thanksgiving towards the end of the year here. So yeah, I didn't love the NVIDIA earnings because we're used to blowouts. You don't get a blowout. That's usually a sell-off. But because of this market dynamic and the taxes, I think that's why we're seeing NVIDIA up. That's why I'm looking for a melt up in the market. Now, regarding other earnings reports, we had PDD, Deere. PDD missed on the top and bottom. Deere beat, but they missed on guidance. PanW, I thought, was a decent report, but I don't know this company well, so I'm not going to go out on a limb and make any recommendations about a 2-for-1 split. I think their guidance may have been a little light from what I saw, but I want to draw your attention to Snow. Snow, I think, had the best earnings report. It's getting the best reception on by the experts on Twitter, by the people I follow, and the analysts. Lots and lots of price target increases this morning. People saying it's an inflection quarter. You know what I like about Snow? You don't have to buy it at the high. This thing was $237, all right? And in fact, if you go way back, it was $429. So this thing has come down so much, and if people are saying things have now turned around, this is an inflection quarter, we can start looking at the targets to the upside, all right? Up 24% this morning. We made this a number one pick, I think. It's basically kind of since early pre-market. Even last night, I put an alert out to get Snow with a $170 price target. All right, let's look at the technicals here. See, we're getting $170 from. I have to refresh my memory. See where I got that from. Here it is, right here. The top of these two candles. The top of this candle on March 22nd. That's the weekly. The top of this candle on May 24th, right there at about $170. You can see the daily moving averages are above all the key levels. We're above the 200-day. So once you're crossing the 200-day moving average here, okay, there was another resistance here in like 155 or something that I was looking at last night. And yeah, you see that? Like this is the next resistance. Pretty obvious. 168.80. Okay, I rounded that up to 170, but 168.80 I think could happen today. 168.80. So we put a buy signal out on this. I'm in this from early pre-market. So Snow is going to be in our top 5 for short today. We got to talk about Bitcoin, right? Look, we've been saying for a while, first of all, we've been so bullish on this. We just updated the 4-pillar trade card. And for the first time, I gave a little bit of a sell signal here. Since 60,000, we've been nonstop bullish on Bitcoin. When we're approaching 90, I said, if we break 90, we're going to make a quick move to about 99,000, maybe 99,900. That move is in motion right now. We hit something like there it is, 98,400. Where exactly this resistance is going to be, I don't know. It could actually be 99,900, 99,999. I got to imagine there's going to be a ton of selling, a huge wall of selling, a tsunami of selling and supply waiting there. I heard people looking at like level 2, where it's available on some platforms, that selling, those supply is sitting there 98,000 to 100,000. That's where all that supply is. 98,000 to 100,000 makes a lot of sense. It's a key psychological level. However, look at the weekly chart. Actually, let's start the weekly chart. You see here the RSI on the weekly. We usually, peak out in the 90s. We're still in the 70s on the weekly RSI. All right. This is the way I'm thinking about Bitcoin. I think you have to assume, because of the big psychological level, that maybe it peaked out at 98,500, but somewhere between 98,000 and 100,000, you're going to hit a wall and you get a big, pullback and a sell off, to where we'll see once that starts. I don't think all the ever know. But here's what I'm thinking. Because that RSI is low, not really low, but not as high as it usually gets on the cycles. If we break over 100,000 comfortably and we retest it and bounces off 100,000, I'm going to go out on a limb and say we may never see below 100,000 ever again. All right. That's a big number. And once you break it, it might be defended there, that 100,000. When you have a massive important resistance level, which 100,000 obviously is, then that becomes a massive support level if you break it. So, if you are trading Bitcoin, I would say take some profits in the 98,000 to 100,000 area. And then if it does break it, you go back in. If you have to pay a little bit higher, you're not going to pay that much higher. But it's very important to see how this interacts with the 100,000. So Bitcoin. Now, I'm long Bitcoin, but, I didn't get into the miners. I gave you guys an idea on Mara the other day, which turned out to be great. Unbelievable, because they did an offering, and we found a little bit of a note in the offering where this thing was manipulated down. It was right here on this day, November 18th. The thing crashed in the afternoon, and then the filing came out after the close. It said the convertible price was determined based on the average selling price between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. I mean, what craziness, like what manipulation. When I saw that, I'm like, we're going to rock it up, right? But I don't know why I didn't take it, because, sometimes it's just, there's a lot of stuff going on, and we're like an RCAT. We can't be everywhere. But in any case, I gave that idea to you, and Mara is just exploding over here. But yeah, I was not all over the miners, because I thought, to me, it was so obvious that Bitcoin was going to 100 or test 100,000 that I'm like, it's got to be priced in. Like, everyone knows it's going to 100,000 imminently. But I guess everyone didn't know that. All right, so the miners start reacting as it's going towards 100,000. So that was a missed play by us not playing the miners, but we're long Bitcoin. All right, so that's the analysis on Bitcoin. I've been playing it with ARK. That's how I decided to play this Trump trade, right? Bullish Bitcoin, bullish Tesla. ARK has a number of great names exposed to Bitcoin. They have Coinbase in there, big holding over 10%. They have Hood in there, which I think is like 5 or 6%. They have Square in there, which has some exposure to Bitcoin, which is also breaking out. Beautiful chart. Obviously, they have that Palantir in there. So ARK, all of a sudden, as I've been talking about, is a great little ETF here. I continue to like this with the price target of 58.38 to the 200th EMA there of 63.16. We're at 55.81, 55.90 right now. So ARK, the way I'm playing that. NVIDIA, I did take a ER bet on NVIDIA. I did it through DELL calls. So we got DELL call options. Hopefully we'll make some money on that, up 1.7% this morning. So we'll take a look at that. I like DELL. It's in my long-term account, the common shares. They're taking lots of business away from SMCI. All right. There we go. So we talked about 775 target on RCAT. We got PDYN, UMAC, these little ones here. A couple others I'm going to bring to your attention. Well, On Holdings, one of my favorite shoe companies now. Great. They got an upgrade this morning, a big upgrade. Who is it from? Raymond James upgrades to strong buy on strong momentum, raises the price target, I think from like 58 to 63, I think is what it was. So On Holdings could outperform today. I would say just buy this and hold it. In fact, I might buy more in my long-term account and just hold On Holdings rather than trying to trade that one today. All right. Continue to like the Geo and the CXW swing. Root, huge winner for us yesterday and over the last few days. XBI, let's see. We had this swing. We gave this idea to you. over the last couple of days with a target of 94.92, almost there. Layup of a target 94.92. We'll see. Maybe it can break that and get back into this range in the 96.97 area. But 200 DMA was the target. VKTX is going to go up along with it. So, wow, that was a lot of stuff. That was a mouthful, Rhett. And let me see. I think we have to throw up Snow and RCAT in the top 5. I feel like RCAT's been in our top 5 like every day in the past week. So Snow and RCAT's got to be there. Besides for that, QS is interesting. I don't know a lot about it, but this showed up all over Twitter yesterday. People talking about bullish options flow, and also there's some speculation and Mosaic people are putting together that they may have a deal with an EV company, maybe Jaguar, that may be announced soon. So this is a very hot stock now in the world out there. We followed the whales. I forgot which contract it was. We have that in our Discord on QS. So this might have a nice day, especially if you break 519. I can see a quick shot to that 50 DMA 544. Look, a lot of the things I have in here are kind of like I'm not necessarily loving these for day trades. When we're talking about ARKK and XBI, these are just continuation of our swings. I think you buy on holdings for the long term over here if you're not in a day. I like Snow for that target of 170 potentially today. I like RCAT for buying the dips, and maybe it hits our target today, 775, especially with that Fox piece that's going to come out after 10 a.m. So I got to put RCAT in the top 5. So I like Snow and RCAT for today. I like QS a little more speculative because I'm not directly familiar with the mosaic of information being put together where people are speculating about this deal, but I'll throw that into the top 5. But aside from that, when you're looking at like ARK and DELL, these are smaller names, speculative. I'm not going to put them in the top 5, but they very well may do great today. PD, YN, UMAC. Square, unbelievable pick from you, Rhett. Looking great for our 110 target as a swing to 110. It could very well do great today, But like in our top 5, I like to put things that have a proximal catalyst, not just moving based on technicals. If you're just moving based on technicals and overall sentiment, that's like a swing trade. All right. For today, we want catalyst. That's why we have Snow up there. That's why I have RCAT, the proximal catalyst yesterday. QS, a proximal catalyst. We're anticipating an immediate, imminent catalyst of a contract win. So that's how I'm choosing these into the top 5. But the rest of these, I love them. They're great. They're good swings. Geo, especially, I love as a swing. But again, since I don't have a proximal catalyst for you, I can't put any of these in the top 5. So it looks like on a really nice green day where I'm expecting the start of a Santa rally and a melt up, all right, got lots of great swings for you. But as far as like top picks for the day, right now I only have Snow, RCAT, and QS. Rhett, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm really liking Snow. I mean, that one really back in the day used to be a huge name everyone used to talk about when it ran to 400. And normally with these runs that it has, you see these continuations on Snow go for a couple weeks looking at the chart. So I really like the setup that this is forming. I think we definitely have 190s in play for this one. So
maybe, and I have to say too, that 170 target I'm giving you, it might be a low target because I'm looking at all the analyst upgrades. They're up there at like 200, 190, 200, lots of big upgrades. So it's possible we can break that 170 and head towards higher numbers. Look at this one up here. That could be a magnet too. 180 if you break 170. Look at that strong support. Wow, 180 was a very key level. So it's possible you even see higher than 170 today, or it may take a couple days like you're suggesting. Someone's asking about ACRS. ACRS was mentioned in our community. I forgot who gave it to us. Maybe it was Ollie. I'm not sure. So I just haven't done my independent research on this. So I don't know a lot about it. I'm not in it right now, but it looks great. They got some news. They acquired like two new drugs or 2 patents, something like that. But the analyst upgrades incredible for this tiny company. If you look at like the names that are covering that, like Cantor Fitzgerald came in yesterday, like really, really good companies. I think JP Morgan even was in there. Jefferies. I mean, they got basically everyone upgraded to like between $7 and $12. All right. $7 to $12 upgrades on this game-changing acquisition that they did. So the stock's up 5% this morning. I mean, it looks good. It does. I just haven't had time. I haven't put my research in it to independently have conviction in this name. 415 to 418. I'm going to throw this to the top of the list because we got some nice pre-market action. We got a market that's behaving well for us. So I'll throw ACRS into the top of the list. So we got Snowflake, RCAT, QS, a little speculative. ACRS is less speculative in a way. Catalyst already came, recent catalyst with strong upgrades from everyone. In fact, let me switch these. Okay. So now we got 4 names in the top 5. There you go, Progressive.
And then we have Vince saying in the comments, VKTX with 100 emoji.
VKTX 100. So that's to me, VKTX and XBI are kind of going to move together. But I have to wonder. So we have this bounce back we're trying to play in XBI and VKTX, but I'm starting to make a list of stocks that are maybe victims of tax loss selling here. I think Celsius is one of them. Okay. I think TMDX is one of them. All right. In fact, I know direct firsthand. I saw someone who's very bullish on TMDX that I'm taking the loss here because of tax loss selling. I'll be back in 30 days. So that's happening, right? I think Air Test Systems is one of them. Okay. And all of these are candidates to explode end of December through January. But maybe, Vince, maybe VKTX is also going to be a victim of that. I think most people are underwater on VKTX this year. Most of the volume was after 38, not before 38. So people are buying up here. I think most people are underwater on VKTX. It may be a victim of tax loss selling. Let's see if we can get that bounce that we're talking about on XBI. But I'm going to be more optimistic on VKTX starting the 3rd week of December with this tax loss selling group, January. Number 1 trade, Progressive says ACRS number 2. All right, great. So we're pretty much on the same page. So Snow, RCAT, ACRS, QS, these are the top 4 picks for today. Wow, it looks like we are going to have a very impressive, beautiful day for RCAT today. I think there's a very high chance we're going to hit 775 at this point. So congratulations to everyone in the community, in our Discord community. We hit a huge home run with TSSI. Now we're hitting a huge home run with RCAT. Make sure to, we forgot to change the banner. Join us for just $2 a day, storytrading.com/Discord. Anything else you want to add, Rhett?
Nope, that's it. Look forward to seeing everyone inside.
All right. Take care. Have a great day, everyone.